Hey, who'd you talk to? What's going on? It is me, Mike Lepre, King Mike L. This is Legit Paranormal News, brought to you by LegitPodcast.com. It is August 9th, 2023. Let's see, 8, 9. 9 minus 8 is 1. And then we do 2 times 2 is 4, minus 3 is 1. We have ones on either side for the math geeks. Dave, I'm sorry I have to do that about the math geeks, but I am King Mike L.
I'm Dreamy David Barr.
And I am Machine Mandy.
Shrader Hill author.
And now for our top story. David, before we get into this top story on the news, I just wanted to discuss something really quickly. I've been going down another rabbit hole of paranormal videos. But then I got stuck on a non-paranormal video that it reminded me. I totally forgot that this show existed. Totally forgot that it existed. And when I watched it back, I thought it was the worst idea in show histories. Has anyone ever seen The Moment of Truth?
The name sounds familiar.
Okay.
Sounds familiar.
So, spouses, whatever, whatnot, whoever, they go up there and they're asked like 100 questions beforehand with a lie detector test. And then for money, they have to answer these questions in front of said loved ones and be honest if they're, if they did it, they didn't do it, whatever. And they warn them every time it's about to get much worse. And they're like, oh, yeah, no, let's go. And then the ex-boyfriend comes out. Did you, would you have rather married me? And they're like, the sister leans forward, she hits the buzzer, which means you can't answer that question. Ooh, gotta go on to the next question. Next question is the guy still standing there, the ex-boyfriend. He's like, do you think that I would have made a better husband than Frank? And would you leave him if I asked you to?
Huh.
Yeah, that's a game show. That's a game show.
Wow.
That'd be fun. That'd be fun. The answer was yes. Like, how much money is worth that drive home? Oh God, yes. I mean, there was a couple of them. Like, it was just like, do you know something about your? Do you know a secret about your dad that your mom doesn't know? And it's like, yeah, I think we all do. But it's tough to say that on TV.
Yeah, and you wouldn't want to, really.
So who goes to these things?
Somebody that needs a lot of money quick.
Or they're desperate for attention.
Yes.
Attention seekers.
Have you ever seen a live Maury Povich or Sally Jesse Raphael or anything like that?
You are the father.
Jerry Springer.
Oh, Jerry.
I went to see who is the I think wasn't Jerry Springer. It might have been him, but I think it might have been the woman. No, it was Springer. It was definitely Springer, because here's what happened. It was men who abuse their women. That was what we were going to have on. So they went to the crowd and found all the bigger guys and sat us up front. And then told us, when he comes out here, give it to him. I'm like, yeah. He's like, yeah, you give it to him. Now, they had no idea that. See, they filmed an earlier show that I could care less about. I don't even know what it's about. I sat way in the back. I didn't even listen. I was drinking out of like a flask I had in my jacket. So now you put me up front with a guy who comes out abusing his wife, a girl, and we got him good. We were too much, me and my friends. He tried to come in the crowd, which would have been awesome. I would have loved to have been on that one if they would have had that clip. So we just called him every name in the book. And then I'm thinking, like, so these people that go on these shows, why would you want that attention? Secondly, who in God's name wants to get up, take a lie detector test about questions you don't want to answer, and then go stand there and have the cojones to answer these questions honestly, and then smile at your family? Like, oh, we're winning money. It's like, are we really?
Yeah.
Because the divorce is going to cost a lot more than anything you're winning, I think. Right now.
Yeah.
Why would you?
They do for the fame.
What fame? What fame?
Well, they think they're going to get, famous.
What they think.
one time.
I'm glad you said that because that's where I wrapped this up to where I was bringing it. Everybody thinks they're going to get famous. And the younger generation, I know I sound like the curmudgeon with the white beard, they feel like it's their right to become famous. Famous there, famous in the paranormal field, famous in music, famous in whatever.
Famous for eating food in their cars and making videos of that.
Well, yeah, but that's kind of, I like that. I'll watch that. But famous isn't famous anymore. Is it? Like, what is famous? Sin, how many people have to know who you are for you to consider yourself famous?
Well, I mean, I haven't reached that yet.
Well, what would it take?
Yeah, how many will it take?
Yeah.
A few more thousand. I mean, I've got 700. So, and I'm happy. I'm happy with the 700.
You have 700 fans?
On my author page, that follow me, like it, and, that kind of thing.
Because I almost got 2,000 friends, and I don't think I have 70 fans. I'll be honest with that one. Dave, how many people would it take for you to be famous?
I don't know. See, there's this thing where they say you just need 100 raving fans or 1,000 raving fans or something like that to keep you going. I don't want to be famous, to be honest with you, Mike. Like my daughter, one day she watches like these YouTube people and stuff, and she's like, "Dad, do you want to be YouTube famous?" And I said, "No." And she's, "Why wouldn't you want to be YouTube famous?" I say, "Say we're on vacation and I'm trying to enjoy time with you and Mom, and I can't because all these people are running up to me for, snapping selfies and asking for autographs or making video snippets. I don't want that.
No.
I want to enjoy my life."
Mandy, how many?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I would say it'd have to be. I'm thinking
2 more, just 2 more.
Yeah, well, a lot more.
Let me ask you this:
depends on what you're doing, what it is you're doing, to become famous, I guess, or wanting to be famous.
All right, so in the paranormal field, we have people that want to become famous, and that's their only goal. That's a fact. We break it down to there's people that want to investigate, there's people that want to learn, there's people that are thrill seekers, there's people that want to be famous, and then there's people that just want to hook up, which no one ever brings up on any talk show or anything about the paranormal, but that stuff happens, and it's weird. It gets weird. But famous. Now, has anyone here been famous?
I was relatively famous in college when I was the mascot.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody knew, hey, that's Old Blue. That's Old Blue.
Oh yeah, they know the mascot. I'll agree with that. They
Yeah.
know, hey, that's Cindy. That's she's underneath.
Yeah,
there.
no. Several people knew, yes, my name and stuff, but that's the only fame I have. That's it.
So I've touched it, Dave. I've come close to it. I've turned it down. We had about 400 fans that would go state to state with us. That was not famous. I don't consider it famous. They knew who I was. They knew the songs, and then they thought they knew me. That was my biggest pet peeve, is everyone thought they knew you, especially if you sing songs, right? They immediately go, "Oh, I read your lyrics. I know what you're talking about. I relate to you." And see, now Dave was there. This is weird because he said it, and then I went back and looked at it. At that reunion show we did the video of, he's on stage taking photos. Dave Barr is on stage in that video taking photos. So the thing was, like, my problem was I hated coming off stage. It was an adrenaline rush. That's why people want to be famous. But then you deal with that other stuff where they're asking you questions about the lyrics. What you think when you wrote this? Let me ask you this. Or, you know what? I connect to you. And you're going, oh, no. Anybody who comes up and says they connect to me or they understand me right away, it's like, no, you don't. No, you don't. Not from that, at least. Not from what I just did on that stage. We just did a cover of Two Live Crew. That's not me. That was for the crowd. Like, you know what I mean? So, famous. Game show famous, which, Sin, you remember Lip Service, the lip syncing game show from MTV?
I
I've
do.
seen one of the lip syncing shows, but I'm not sure what the title was.
It was called Lip Service. John Ames was the host. Moni Love was the DJ, and they would have 3 guests like judges: body language, accuracy, and then God only knows what the last one was, like spice. But I was on that show with Dave, the other guy from the band, and my older brother. We were in Queens, New York, all day long. We went on the last show possible, filming, to be there all freaking day. We went up against 3 girls from Queens, and we beat them in every single round. We actually got a
Wow.
perfect score at the end, and we're asked to come back for the final. But I had finals in college, and all you would win was your own lip sync video. Who the frig wants a lip sync video? Like, where's that gonna go? You know what I mean? What? No, especially I was in a band. Like, no, like I ain't doing
Right.
that. That's
Right.
death. But
Exactly.
we had Tawny Katane as one of the judges.
Whoa.
Yeah, the White Snake girl. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
This is when she was beating up her baseball husband. That was that period. We had D Nice. My name is D Nice. You know the song. And then we had Lip Synca, which was a let me call it how she said it in the 90s. She was a cross-dressing entertainer. That's the legal term I'll use. So Dave, now that I've rambled enough for it's 13 minutes past, what's the top story?
We're going with Alienmania. So,
Uh-oh.
like, growing up, were any of you Hulkamaniacs? Hulkamania was running wild.
Well, are you asking the question, or is that just...
Yeah, Mike, were you a Hulkamaniac?
No, I liked Roddy Piper.
Yeah, I liked Roddy Piper. I was
I
a
liked
junkyard
him. I liked
dog
him
kind of
too.
guy, too.
No, I didn't like Hogan. He was too gonna win all the time. He was muscular. He was big. He was blonde. I'm this little scrawny kid. I'm going, I got nothing in common with that guy. Roddy Piper, now, on the other hand, the guy won't shut his mouth. That keeps getting beat up, or he sneaks out before someone can pin him. That's my guy.
Have you ever watched the documentary on his life? Not to go
Oh.
off on a tangent, but
A couple times.
like the things that he would do, like he was wrestling in Mexico and he came out with his bagpipes and he said, and now I'm going to play the Mexican national anthem. And he played La Cucaracha and people were like throwing chairs at him. Someone tried to stab him. He had to get escorted out of the arena. Like, that's how intense he was about the character that he played.
He has some of the most greatest quotes ever.
Oh, yeah.
Whenever they think they got the answers, I change the questions.
Yep.
That and the iconic from They Live, I came here to kick ass and chew bubblegum, and I'm all out of bubblegum. That, hey, man. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
And he
Hulk
wrote
Mania
those
was a big
things
thing.
and asked for them to be like interjected into the script.
Yeah.
But it seems like ever since this disclosure thing a couple weeks ago, everyone's just going crazy about like UFOs, UAPs, and aliens, and there's all these stories. So I've got some bits and pieces of stuff. So the first is there's a bunch of Peruvian villagers. They claim they were attacked by predator-style aliens recently. So yeah, they're members of the Iquitu tribe, indigenous people in the Alto Nane area of Peru. I'm probably going to butcher some of these names because they're kind of crazy.
Do they get cable?
Probably not.
So how do they know they were like predator like aliens? They never seen the movie.
I don't know. They also talk about the Green Goblin and being like having armor like the Green Goblin.
I'm sure they probably saw Spider-Man.
They must get stuff.
Yeah, I'll give them Spider-Man.
Yeah. So some of these villagers claim to have seen one of these aliens after it attacked a 15-year-old girl. The native people allege that the mysterious creature slashed her across the neck, and she required some heavy medical attention. Hunters from the tribe claim to have fired at the armored beings. However, they soon discovered that the creature was immune to their weapons.
Sure.
They couldn't penetrate the creature's armor.
Yep.
The native people claim to have seen one of these 7-foot alien beasts disappear and reemerge on the spot. They claim that these are aliens from another planet. Others had believed that these were local folklore monsters.
Mm-hmm.
And then some people were suggesting that these predators were drones covered in cloth and masks to scare them by illegal miners, taking a page out of Scooby-Doo. And I would have got
Scooby-Doo
away
had
with
drones?
it if it weren't for you damn kids.
Oh, I get that. But how do you wait a minute? You put a wig on a drone?
A mask on a drone and you fly it around, I guess. I don't know. So there was a lot of speculation over what these things actually were.
Well, so far, Dave, it sounds like a nice cover-up for what they did to a 15-year-old girl. But, that's just my negative outlook on life. Continue.
All right, we'll get to the answers for this one. There's a man named Jairo Riategui Avila.
Is it?
He's one of the community leaders. He spoke about these strange attacks, and he was the one who likened them to the Green Goblin from Spider-Man, having the green armored mask with the yellow eyes. He says these gentlemen are aliens. They seem armored like the Green Goblin from Spider-Man. I have shot him twice, and he does not fall, but rises and disappears. We are frightened by what is happening in the community. So that was his quote. He goes on to say that their color is silver, their shoes are round in shape, and with that they rise up. They float 1 meter high and have a red light on their heel. He also says their heads are long and their eyes are yellowish, and with that they see well and they leave. They are experts at escaping.
Sounds like a teenager.
With light up tennis shoes.
Yeah, with light up sneakers.
Yeah.
Shoes.
Maybe they were wearing Heelys too. They got, they just rolled away pretty quickly.
And they could glide, and the aliens seemed to glide as if they were skating.
There was another witness that said that these beasts conceal their identities and can fly. The witness said they don't let their faces be seen and their body is floating. They use their arms as balance when flying, but they can walk normally. Every time we arrive, they fly with the activation of something on their soles of their feet. They have wheels with lights. Ooh, light up Heelys, or maybe one of those hoverboard things. He told the truth. So Peru's law enforcement and their Navy says they would look into the matter. So now they have a recent investigation. The local prosecutor's office revealed that these men were actually illegal miners seeking to terrorize the tribe and scare them away so they could commit their illegal mining activities.
Wow.
So this group was launching nightly attacks on the villages, again, to scare them and keep them away. And the villagers think that they have these extraterrestrial beings with large heads and yellow eyes. And it was really, men in suits. And
how did they shoot them?
I don't know what kind of guns they had. Or actually, it doesn't even say they were guns. They could have been shooting arrows at them for all I know. And apparently this kind of activity is nothing new to the region, because there were stories from 2019 and 2020 where there was illegal gold mining, and allegedly all these alien attacks happened. And so according to the prosecutor, the men used high-tech equipment like jetpacks, which would allow them to fly. And he said that these were illegal gold miners from Brazil and Colombia, which border the Amazonian region to the north and to the east.
Jetpacks?
These miners search for gold in the Peruvian jungle, but they use harsh chemicals to dredge the waters, and it leaves a ton of pollution in their wake.
I believe all of this, but jetpacks?
I want to see these jetpacks. When was the last time you saw someone flying around on a jetpack?
Never. The best you get to see is the guy that does it over the water at some stupid lake halftime show, and he ends up head first in. Never looks cool. But if
maybe
made
these guys maybe these guys scored enough gold to buy some jetpacks somewhere on the
Is
black
it the
market. I don't
gold or
know.
is it that stuff that makes iPhones? That they've
It's
been digging
gold.
for?
So
It's
they're
gold.
after gold.
Oh, gold in them there hills. I get it.
Yes.
I get it. So, Alienmania, Dave. Where else have you been seeing it strike?
So we
this
have
whole-
Republican Representative Anna Paulina Luna of Florida. She says that she has personally seen photographic evidence of an unidentified flying object from a source in the Department of Defense, and she believes what she saw in this photograph was beyond our capabilities. Now, Representative Luna, she was in the Air Force. She's an Iraqi war veteran, and she says, based on the evidence that I have personally seen, the technology that exists is something that I don't think any government has currently. So she
Jetpacks.
teamed up.
Oh,
Yeah,
never mind.
maybe she was in.
My bad.
It was from Peru. Who knows? So Representative Luna and Representative Matt Gaetz have reportedly reviewed evidence of a UAP encounter off the coast of Florida. Now, interestingly enough, Luna herself says she has not witnessed a UAP, but she believes that the evidence that she's seen speaks for itself. And she says that the government is stonewalling all these investigations, and she believes that they're hiding something. And she says that there are these programs that are being set up without congressional oversight, and they're responsible for billions of dollars being lost. She wants to see that money go towards other things. So she wants us to stop wasting money investigating, stuff or concealing things from the public.
Would she like steak every night for dinner too? Foot
Yeah.
rub at 4:00 by a U.S. official. Like, what else is she asking for? I mean,
It's a government. I mean, come on. They divert funds into all kinds of things. We all know this.
oh hell yeah.
Yeah.
It's the government. Like, when you find out that someone in the government was stealing money or doing something like shady, like having business deals, who is shocked anymore? Like,
Right.
where's this fake outrage? I thought what a politician did was leverage his position to make money from other people. I actually thought that's what they did. That's all it seems like they do. So when you call them on it, it's like, you didn't know? Like, there's been a president that didn't have any really, like they don't all just buy stock when they know they're supposed to buy stock all through the government. They don't all know this. We got to pretend like we don't know. Like, they're all, okay, jetpacks. But Dave, aliens are everywhere, and it is a bit much because they're trying to flood the water and make us not believe in them. Or think that, no, really, or think that, what's going to happen, keep us on the edge of our seats. It's going to be like the Capone vaults. There'll be nada, nothing, and Geraldo Rivera standing there looking stupid.
Yeah. This is Geraldo Rivera. I still have my giant mustache.
Yeah.
And I'm still trying to hang on to the last shred of fame that I have.
Yeah. And he didn't really have much. The best fame he had was when he got hit in the face with a chair by like a skinhead, I think it was.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was my favorite episode of Geraldo.
Yes.
But so Dave, Alienmania.
Yeah.
Like the name. But how much of it is that we have been waiting to hear this, so now we're hearing it, and we're just like, all right, it's okay, it's cool. And how much of it is there's just too much of it all of a sudden? There's just too much of it. Like, what? Like, in other words, anybody with half a brain would go, how come all of it now? Like,
Right.
why all of it now? Like, we weren't seeing this stuff before.
Here's the other thing too, and I think you mentioned this a couple weeks ago on the show. We had this David Grush come forward and testify. He never actually saw any of this stuff himself. He was reporting on things that people told him.
Yeah.
Right. And so now there's supposed to be disclosure, and the government has all this stuff. Everybody's talking, but nobody's showing. So where's the evidence? Where's the government documentation, the photographs, the videos, the schematics that they have, the research that's been done? All we're hearing is hearsay.
Yeah,
We're not
I know a
actually
guy who
seeing
told me
anything
that.
tangible.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. That's why when he gave that whole thing, it was like, oh, it was all great music to hear coming from his voice, right? But you're just telling me that you heard from somebody.
Right.
I could go to the local bar if I wanted to hear that kind of info, right?
Yeah.
People
Or
telling me stuff. Oh, I heard a guy did this. Oh, you did? And like, I got to take that as fact. But all right, I don't. Dave, there's definitely been some sort of contact with aliens, and I think it's long before us. And I think there was an agreement set up with said aliens, and I think they're worried about screwing the deal more than they are worried about letting us know that they're there.
that's definitely a potential possibility.
I am
mean,
a curmudgeon.
I loved the X-Files growing up. You know, I want to believe. I believe the truth is out there, but I'm not seeing like evidence. Again, this all the stuff they just talked about. Oh, so and so told me this. Oh, so and so had a picture of this, or so and so was at this site and they claim that they saw this. You know, where's the footage from these sites? They have to document everything. Come on, we're not
Dude.
stupid.
They got a
You know,
camera
like-
on every pole. Every
Yeah.
freaking pole. You get into a car accident, like, yeah, he hit me. They're like, ah, don't worry about it. We'll review it when we get the video back. I'm
They
like,
can
from
zoom
what?
in on stuff from satellites. Come on.
Dude, I had a company send me a letter, and on the envelope was an image of my house taken
Yeah.
from Google.
Yeah.
But they put it on a friggin' letter. I'm like, why am I getting a letter with a picture of my house on it? That doesn't make me feel good about your company. Like, don't do that. Like,
It's creepy.
don't print my stuff on stuff, you know? I'm sorry, Dave. Yeah.
No, that's good.
The
So
government, they're the aliens.
what's that?
No, she might be right, though.
I just said the government, they're the aliens. You ever think of it like that? Maybe there's some connection or something. I don't know.
We could be in a they live kind of scenario. You know, Mike was talking about they live earlier. Who knows?
Wouldn't be shocked. Would
Yes.
not be shocked if they were
Right.
living amongst us and they're the ones that.
They're the,
Uh,
the government
they're
this
the
whole
government.
time.
Or I had COVID recently. I was bored. I caught up on all the Marvel shows, and one of them was Secret Invasion, and the Skrulls, shape-shifting aliens, slowly replaced people in high up positions. Who knows? I think anything's possible.
They keep finding Chinese cells of Chinese loyalists within the United States.
Huh.
They found 2 so far. One was in New York. They were completely set up in a business that had like a shell name. When they broke in there was all kinds of stuff, including, and you can look this up, biological
Samples,
test
vials.
tube samples of, and they named off the diseases: the bird flu, this, that, the other. That is not a good thing. That's not something that got a lot of press. They buried that in the back of the news because why do they want you to hear that? And
Right.
I was terrified because I've heard that that's been happening for a long time. Other countries find it very easy to just come into the United States and set up shop here and work, kind of work from home. It's like a work from home type thing, but you're working for China and you're in the United States. So yeah, look that up. Dave, what else you got?
So we have Alien Mania continues.
Uh-oh.
We have a former Navy pilot who was part of that congressional testimony, Navy pilot Ryan Graves. He was with former Commander David Fravor and David Grush, who testified. They all testified last month. Yeah. So, Graves wants to back the bombshell made that by Grush that the United States has retrieved and studied UFOs of non-human origin and recovered alien bodies. He's got his own story. He says 9 years ago, he was in an FA-18 squadron operating off the coast of Virginia Beach. They observed and tracked a UAP that had infiltrated military airspace. He said the UAP had no visible propulsion or lifting surfaces, but could remain motionless in Category 4 hurricane winds. It could accelerate to supersonic, and it could operate all day. It was outlasting all their fighter jets by 10 hours or more. And it even almost caused midair collisions with their jets. So it triggered them to enact some mandatory safety protocols. He
How
claimed
fast could it go? What
uh,
speed?
accelerate to supersonic.
Supersonic.
Yeah.
Hey, baby D, I rock the mic because I'm always in time. I'm always
That's a
working to
good
something.
song.
Was that Bunny and Tigra?
Jamming out.
Was that Bunny and Tigra? Supersonic.
No, Bunny and Tigra were.
No, they
We
like the cars that
the
go boom.
cars that go boom.
Yeah.
We're Tigra and Bunny, and
Yeah.
we like the boom. Yeah, that was totally different, Dave.
Yeah. Sorry, my bad. So he claims that today some of these same UAPs are still being seen, demonstrating the same abilities and activities. He claims that the government has no idea of the scope of the problem. And a lot of these things are being reported by pilots, both commercial and military. And he wants to know why these things aren't being taken more seriously, especially by people he considers experts. They're in the air all the time. They're flying all these different aircrafts. They know what we have and what we don't have. So again, he's pushing for these things to be documented better, being taken more seriously, and try to improve the safety of our skies.
No, it's not in the government's best interest to do that. They would never do that.
Well, speaking of, them being in the skies and all, people are claiming that they're in the water too.
Yeah.
Lots of people are seeing these lights in the water. Strange.
Especially out in California, I think.
Yeah.
Lights in the water, lights in the sky. I think the government is never going to show their hand. What does this say? So my question, why doesn't the Navy shoot down the UAPs if they get too close or are being unsafe in the air? I can give you a good answer, Brian. Because what if they knock it down? What if it's successful and they hit it? They got to go recover it. Then they got to explain what they just did.
That's the big thing.
Then they got to explain what they recovered. Then they got to find the weather balloon, throw in the water, and claim that was it. A lot of things go into stuff like that. It's not as easy cut and dry. I mean, they should shoot things that are in our airspace. But let me ask you this, Brian. Why do they let a red balloon float across the entire country and question what we should do to it? Should we blow it up? Should we knock it down? Oh, we don't know what's in it. It was a red balloon. It was almost like you ever notice how in movies there's always a balloon in a scene and you're just like, they don't put balloons in scenes like that. Like, why is there a balloon? That's so ridiculous. And I feel like that's what they did to us. We agree.
You'll float too, Mike.
Yeah, I don't think I float.
You'll float too.
I don't float. I'm not a floater. I'm just not a good floater. I sink. Not very buoyant.
It's a Pennywise reference.
Oh, I don't. Is that the clown from It? Never seen it. I haven't. I won't watch it. It looks scary. I stay away from it. Oh, wait a minute. Brian's on top of it.
Yep.
He just backed you up that it was Pennywise.
Also to answer Brian's question, some of these pilots claim that these UAPs, UFOs can do some insane maneuvers that we're just not capable of doing. They can shoot up and down and make turns and really quickly. And
have to get Maverick.
Yeah. And Goose.
Maverick up there. And Goose. Well, he's not around anymore. What's his son's name? What the friggin' duck name did they name him?
I didn't see the new Top Gun.
Oh, they gave his son name like a rooster or
yes.
Yeah, they did. It was weird. Like they were all foul. Like we had to name them after all birds. Is that what the family is? Yeah, dogs have to go out. I just got a message, very important one. Dogs have to go out. Well, I don't know what to tell you. Oh, wait a minute.
Hey, Brian's right there.
Brian, it was Rooster. I guess the gold star right there for Brian. So then, Dave, where does this end with this alien mania? Like,
we got one more quick thing. Scientist Dr. Avi Loeb, an astrophysicist at Harvard University, believes that we could find out if aliens exist in less than a month based on fragments of a meteor that he and his team recovered and are studying.
Oh, this is
Yeah.
what I was trying to tell the guy from oh God help me here. Starts with an M. MUFON. My bad. I was trying to tell him that I was just watching on the news the same day we talked to him. There's this rich guy in another country, blonde, got like a James Bond type accent. He goes to where these things crash and just pulls up and mines the ground. And he keeps coming up with materials that are not from here. Like there's iron in them all, but no other material that they can make out. They can make out the iron, but not the other metals.
So he tracked a meteor that plunged to the Earth back in 2014. The meteor is known as CNEOS 2014-01-08. It was detected by the Catalina Sky Survey, which looks out for comets and asteroids that could threaten Earth. He said it was traveling at 28 miles per second, which is much faster than any known asteroid or comet. So that led him to believe that this may have been of an interstellar origin, meaning that this thing's from another star system. So he took special interest in it. He said it was also special in the sense that it was traveling so fast, and it was moving faster than 95% of the nearby stars. So in 2022, he and his team recovered fragments of this meteor from the Pacific Ocean, and he was able to track it. Like, they spent a lot of money tracking and trying to figure out where this thing hit. It cost 1.2 million euros for the whole operation to track.
Like $500.
What's that?
It's like $500.
No.
My math's off. Am I good?
Yeah. We'll get the math geeks on that one, Mike.
Yeah.
So he recovered these metallic beads measuring up to 0.7 millimeters in diameter. They're being analyzed in Germany, Papua New Guinea, and at 2 universities in the U.S. And as you were saying, these fragments were found to be made of a strange alloy of steel and titanium that is much stronger than any known natural material on Earth.
Especially iron.
Yes, iron. So this is leading him to believe that this may be a piece of alien technology. So he's claiming that it's a chance that it's artificial and that it's a piece of a spacecraft. He said that this piece of meteor is a different material and much tougher than all 272 space rocks in the NASA catalog that have been recovered over the past decades. So he believes he's within a month of finding out how this meteor was made and whether it's alien technology.
A month, huh?
I wonder if they'll shut him down.
Well, his peers are refusing to review his research, and several of his colleagues are accusing him of sensationalism and trying to get his 15 minutes of fame.
Oh, well, dang it.
So hopefully within a month, this guy comes forward with his findings, whatever it is, and we'll go from there.
Shouldn't they get a hold of the guy who made Dolly the sheep?
That made what?
Dolly the sheep. The sheep.
The clone.
Yeah. Get a hold of that guy. Get him all the pieces. Let's see what he can put together. He's making sheep. And if he was making sheep 20 years ago, man, he's making you and me now. So give him all the alien stuff. Put him in his lab.
Actually, I got a story about that for a future podcast, Mike.
That's scary, Dave. That's scary. All right. Dave, thank you about Alienmania.
Thank you.
I don't know if the word's gonna sell. It's a lot of vowels.
Might need some tweaking.
Yeah, Alienmania. I don't even know what UPA still means. Or UAP, I mean. Mandy, what do you got on deck?
Well, I am going to talk about the Amityville Horror House. So this location, the house on 112 Ocean Avenue in Amityville, New York. It's an upscale Long Island suburb, was the site of a brutal family murder in which 23-year-old Ronald DeFeo Jr. shot and killed his parents and young siblings on November 14th, 1974. but much of the legend surrounds the house stems from the family who moved in a little after all of the murders. George and Kathy Lutz and their 4 children. Knowing about the tragic events that had taken place, they agreed to see the property, including a 4,000 square foot house, waterfront access, a boathouse, a heated swimming pool, a garage, and
Wow.
a
What are you
full
selling it?
and a full basement. Eventually, they bought it. But this is said to be one of the most haunted places, and they even made a movie. Stephen King wrote a book, and this movie is actually very famous, and it is said to be true. But there has been speculations on it. I've heard different things. Some say that these people just did this to write a book and become famous and get money. But other people have claimed that the story, it is true that, they are still there haunting the location, the family. Because
Why did Robert kill them?
Huh?
Why did the kid kill them?
Well, I believe it's because he was claimed to have been hearing these voices. He's claiming that something made him do it. And
Voices. That's his excuse for killing his parents and his siblings.
according to the story. But it says after the disturbances worsened, the Lutzes decided to leave the house temporarily. And that night in which they were depart turned out to be their last night there. So they were experiencing all this crazy stuff and they decided to leave and left everything in the house, all their belongings, everything, and did not go back to the house because of all the disturbances that they reported that was going on. So,
but there had to be a kicker. There had to be that one topple the waiter moment where they were just like, you know what? Just leave everything here or out. Get in the car. Get the kids. Get in the car.
They said that the children began to fight with each other. There was just so much weird stuff oozing, like green jello, substances leaking from the walls. The toilet water was running back. Swarms of the house flies, and eyes peering in from outside of the windows. Red eyes, and even it's just their behavior began to change. And the priest that actually went there, he witnessed some stuff himself, and I believe it made him sick too, according to the story.
Wouldn't you like to get the true stories from those guys, the priests, and what they've seen throughout the years?
Oh, they probably witnessed some crazy things.
Yeah,
but
I think they did.
It's one of the most haunted locations around today, and well-known story. Usually what I've learned being a paranormal investigator, when tragic things like this take place in these locations, sometimes the energy of all that anger and stuff can linger on. So, and if there was family that was arguing a lot, doing, they could have been creating a poltergeist, things moving, whatever the case is. But and if the family that was murdered, they might not be at peace too, something so tragic.
Negative energy.
Yes.
And
the fear based
follows you home, right? Does it follow you home? Negative energy?
Yes, it can. Anyone it has followed me, but I'm a really sensitive person, and so I don't know if that's why energies can attach to me more. I don't know. I can't speak for everyone, but yeah, you can walk into a place like this that has a lot of this type of energy in it, and if you're not careful, things can attach.
I get it off people.
Do what?
Sin, you ever get that? You ever have somebody that's just so negative and they get a bad vibe that you leave, like as if you're like trying to clean off, like that? I have way too much. I don't know if it's just me, being antisocial, or if when I'm really around these people, they really are as bad as I think they are. Like, I'm really good at picking people out, and sometimes I'm just like, they can't be that bad. And then you just like, after like a day with them, you just like, you feel dirty. It's just like, and then I come home and it's just like, I still have that,
It changes your like your personality too if you're around someone that's really negative. You could be in a good mood and then all of a sudden you're around someone who's just angry, negative, that can affect you.
I could be in a good mood and I get a call that says, "Did you do the dishes?"
Yeah.
And I'm out. Out. My bad mood's 100% on. Like, it doesn't take much for me. I think that's the problem. And I think that, like, I feel like I soak stuff in. I even felt like that back in the band days. Get off stage and it was just like nothing left because you pulled, and it's just nothing. So I feel like negative energy follows me everywhere. I would not want to visit Amityville Horror.
I
Would
would
you?
want to.
I
Mike,
know
we
you.
got to
That's why I
teach
did
you
that.
some psychic self-defense.
I'd like to investigate that location.
Psychic
Some of my bucket
self-defense.
list.
All right, psychic self-defense. See the thing. So that kid Robert heard voices. I hear voices all the time. Sin, you must hear voices. No, you don't hear voices at any point.
Occasionally at investigations, I will hear my name or something.
No, I hear
Occasionally.
voices. I'm talking like when I'm driving. Dave, do you
Oh
hear
no,
voices?
I talk to myself
Well,
in my
yeah.
head all the time. Yeah,
But does anyone ever answer?
I argue with myself. Yeah,
that
you
your
should do this. No, you shouldn't. Yes, you should. No, you should not.
Yeah, I got that's the angel and the devil on the shoulder. Dave, you talk to yourself?
Do I talk to myself?
Yep.
Yeah.
Everybody talks to themselves.
Yeah.
Do they?
I think they talk out loud. When you're home alone, you ain't gonna tell me you don't talk out loud.
Oh, I don't count though. I sing out loud. I just start yelling at the dogs. I use Italian mob movies to talk to my dogs. Like, what are you, a sick maniac or something? Like, that's what I do. So I don't think I would count. But yeah. So you would go there even though of all the negativity.
Oh yes, I've been to a lot of locations with that and more. So yeah, that's what I do. I like to go find that evidence and prove, that these things are really happening.
You never want to go look for like a real happy place. It's like, ooh, there's happy
yeah,
energy,
I've
it's
come
happy
across a lot of
ghosts.
happy places. Oh yeah.
And about like an amusement park. Like, ooh, no one's died here yet. This is a good park.
Oh, those abandoned amusement parks. Yes.
Well,
The
no.
abandoned ones.
We had Rocky Point, and Dave knows about that. You took your life in your own hands at Rocky Point getting on one of their rides. The guy strapping you in was so high on like meth or whatever it was with their
Or
rocker
drunk.
outfits, long hair. They're like, yeah, you're safe. Bar's not on.
And that's the guy that's putting together the ride.
Yeah.
You have no idea. Rocky Point was like, man, it was like the 80s rock. Like I told you, they gave out roach clips as prizes if you pop the balloon. It was a roach clip that had a feather on it. So, ooh, mom and dad, it's just a feather with a clip, but it's a roach
Oh,
clip.
yeah, I remember those things.
Yeah, see? They're roach clips. Anyone else want to go to Amityville?
Yeah.
Why?
Oh, let's go, Sin.
Yeah, I want to. That's
Why?
just one of the to see if all the hype is true.
Yeah.
Find some evidence. Let me
So
hear some voices.
You're going for a public enemy reason. All right.
Public enemy?
Yeah, don't believe the hype. It's a sequel. Dave, Nico, can I get this true to you? Dave, would you go to Amityville?
I don't know. I have mixed feelings about it. I don't like being in those negative environments, but at the same time, I'm curious to see if there really is evidence that something happened there.
Yeah, I feel confident that you guys will figure out the evidence. I don't think anyone needs me. I'm not, and I really mean this. I'm not scared of any environment. I just don't want the hassle. I also don't think that I'm never worried about my own personal safety as a rule of thumb. So I've been to a couple places on investigations, and I'm just not scared at all. But I'm waiting for something to happen, and nothing ever happens. And it's always when I'm around. So I don't know if I'm just like a dampening, like a wet face cloth, or I don't know what it is. But I'm not scared. I just don't want to. I just would not want to put myself in that place for the fear that for the next week at home, I'm a maniac walking around talking to myself and having issues, because that's, to me, what I have happen more than anything. It's residual. I will carry it home. Anything else about Amityville? Mandy, anything else about Amityville?
No. That's all I have for that one. There's a lot of haunted locations, but that was one of the top ones that I really liked.
See, I'm gonna add to this, because you don't want it to happen in most times. Same thing, right? If you don't want it to happen, it might not happen. If you really want it to happen, it might not happen. It's like I tell my son about getting a girlfriend. Just act like you don't want one, and then that's when one's gonna come along, buddy. Don't. That's just how life works. Sin, you have some stories for us, and I'm not gonna try to cut you off. So go ahead.
These stories are in this fourth book. It's Not Goodbye, Signs from Beyond. Some nursing stories. These particular ones came from Katie Richer. Her mother was a hospice nurse for years in Houston. And when she first started, one of the jobs she had was to give families a tour of the facility. And this had at least 3 stories in this particular facility. And one evening she was giving a tour to the daughter of a would-be patient. And they had been all over the floor. They were on the 2nd floor, entering the stairwell to go back up to 3, when they heard 3rd door open, close, footsteps coming down the steps. So, somebody else is coming down the stairs. However, when they came around the landing, the nurse could still hear, Marie could still hear the footsteps coming down, but no one was there. So she looked at the other girl that she was touring the facility with to see if she noticed anything, and she didn't. She was still talking about her dad or whoever was going to move in and the facility and asking questions. So Marie just kind of moved to the side and felt this thing come between them and continued down the stairs, and she could still hear those footsteps. When they got up to the 3rd floor, she heard the 1st floor door open and close. So after she's done with this tour, she goes into her coworker and she said, the weirdest thing happened, and told her what happened. They said, well, okay, let me tell you what happened. The guy closest to the 3rd floor stairwell door passed while you were giving that tour.
Oh, wow.
He left the building.
Why did he take the stairs?
I don't know.
He wanted them to know.
I think he wanted somebody to know. Yeah.
I'll take that answer, because usually I would expect him to fly up.
Maybe he's got some other people he wants to say bye to before he leaves. Here's one you're not going to particularly like, Mike. Are you ready for it?
Sure am.
Okay. So Marie was working night shift one night, and she had, of course, somebody working with her, but one of the patient call lights went off from a deserted room. And so they looked at each other and went, what's wrong with the light? So she got up, goes in. Of course, the room is empty. She turns the light off and comes back up. Just as she's about to sit down, the same light goes off. Now, this is freaking out her coworker. So she gets back up, goes back down the hall, turns the light off again, comes back up. She's about to sit down. Another light in another room that no one is in, but light goes off. So she gets up, goes down the hall, turns off that light, comes back up, and she called her supervisor downstairs and said, I think something is wrong with the lights, or something is going on. Maybe you should let maintenance know. And her supervisor started laughing and says, okay, look, I know this is going to sound really weird, but next time the light goes off, just go down the hall, go into the room, put your hands on your hips and say, go to bed. And she came back up, right? So the light goes off. She walks down the hall, goes into the room and said, okay, it's 2 a.m. It's past your bedtime. Go to bed. The supervisor had told her that an 8-year-old girl was one of the very first passing that they had in that hospice hall. And she loved playing with the lights.
Wow.
Yeah.
Love it.
Okay. All right. So an 8-year-old girl decides that she's not going to go to heaven. She's going to stay in a hospice and play with the lights. All right.
See, I knew you didn't like this.
Well, I don't subscribe to it, but I'll tell you this much: I've hit the light to call a nurse, and they don't come. I don't. I was spooked out when you said the light went on and she went up there 3 times. I'm like, this is super nurse because. And secondly, when she fills out an application to work at someplace, you'd think she might ask some of these questions beforehand because it seems like she's like, oh, an anvil dropped on my head today. And then the coworker's like, well, let me tell you a story about anvils. So far, this poor woman has been hit twice with, oh, well, let me tell you about the girl that died. Oh, no. Oh, wait. A guy just died. Like, tell me this beforehand. All right, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay, here's the third story from Marie.
Okay. Marie.
She had been working a few years in hospice when this particular one happened. She was working graveyard shift. She was in charge of the second floor and had a CNA with her. And that was it, just the two of them. There were only 5 patients on the floor. One was a tiny baby, and none of them had long to live. The baby had been born with a lot of deformities and just did not have long to live. So they were keeping him comfortable. The other 4 were in a medically induced coma, or the medicines that they had given them just made them sleep all the time. So they were out. They were unresponsive, considered unresponsive. And the CNA goes down the hall to start her rounds while Marie is doing notes at the computer. The CNA starts screaming, saying, Mr. So-and-so is up. He is trying to get out of bed. I need help. I need help. Okay. She runs to the medicine cabinet, grabs the medicine that's needed for that man, goes down the hall. She gets there. The man's out. And she's looking at the CNA like, what the hell? Until the next person in the next room starts going crazy. And she runs in there and think, oh God, let me get that medicine. So she goes back to the drug cabinet, gets that medicine, comes back. The guy's out. Nothing's going on. The third room, that patient starts screaming. She goes in. This one's trying to pull out IVs, taking off restraints, coming over the bed, saying he's got to go out the window. Got to get away from this. Got to go out the window. Okay. Get everything. She realizes then something is going through this hallway. Something, I don't know what it is. She goes and stands in front of the baby's room and says, no, you cannot hurt this baby. And she feels this cold wind go right through her. And then nothing. So she calls down to the people below her and said, you guys are not going to believe what the hell just happened. It was just like all hell broke loose up here. And they said, well, what room did you say it started in? Well, the guy underneath that very room just died a horrible death. Horrible death.
Golly.
And so they figured that when he died, he just rampaged through anything and everything he could. So she still thinks about that one.
What did Marie do with all the extra excess medication?
You know, that was back years ago in Houston, so it's not the same as it would be now. So she probably could have just put that back in the cabinet. And since it was only the 2 of them working that hall that night, I would think that those medical issues would have been a little different than are today.
Yeah, you mean like what? Put a bag over their head, suffocate them? Like what are we talking here? What kind of hospital?
You're talking about the drugs. You're talking about the drugs.
I know.
The cabinet.
Yeah, I know. I don't. First off, working at a hospice, I don't know if there's a harder job that I can think of.
Yeah.
Giving people a tour of hospice is like the complete opposite of like a Disney tour. No one wants
Yes.
to be, well, maybe it's the same nowadays. Nobody wants to be there. It's just, you just don't want to see it. You just want to make sure they're comfortable. Other than that, I don't want to see the place. Like, don't show me other people. I don't want to hear from another old folk how they love it there.
Mm.
Not at hospice. I could care less. I don't want to know. I don't want to know. But those are 3. Now they're all at the same place, these stories.
These are all 3 in Houston at different locations, but the same nurse.
Wow.
So she did hospice all over Houston, and those were from 3 of the facilities that she worked in.
That's a bit
Well,
creepy. I just want to say
hospitals
one.
and stuff are haunted like that. Right?
I want to stick up for Dave here. Between Brian, Steve, Todd, if I get one more hi to Mandy and not one hi to Dave, I'm not going to show it. If you do not say hi to Dave with Mandy, I won't, like, Pam, what did I just say? What did I just say? If you're going to say hi to any one of us, I better be Dave's name included.
There you go.
I said I didn't want to be
Wait a
famous.
minute. Here we
Mike.
go. Howdy,
Oh,
Dave.
that one. Hey, Brian.
Dreamy.
That's how it
guys.
works. We don't pick favorites here. And if we're going to, it's Dave. So let's just get that ahead of time. So if you're going to say hi to anybody else, you got to add Dreamy Dave's name. What would you guys like to say? What's that?
There's another one that just came through.
Oh, all right. Hi. Hello, Dave.
Hi, Pam.
Hello, Mike. It's unnecessary, Pam. I don't need any hellos, but I appreciate it. And howdy, all. That works.
Hey, Pam.
Hey, hello, Sin. All right, now we're going to get out of control. As we go on our wrap-ups, Dave, what would you like to say to wrap it up?
Just kind of be diligent and don't accept everything at face value. I think, especially with all the UFO stuff that's going on, do your due diligence. Still got a little COVID brain. Do your due diligence and don't believe everything you see. I think it's still important to question things and keep pushing and finding our own answers.
Yeah. No. Yes.
And if a politician's mouth is moving, they either want to get reelected or they're lying or both. So,
they're trying to make money.
Yeah, that too.
Pretty much. Mandy, what would you like to say to wrap up?
If you're not already, please go follow us we're on all social media. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. And Intuitive Media Mandy if you'd like a reading.
And you just said if you want to follow us, we're on this, that, the other, and you never said who us was.
Oh,
You're
sorry.
assuming we all know who us is. But just follow us. Oh, all right. Yeah, no, I know.
Thank you, Mike. I totally forgot. I'm sorry, guys. Yes, Ghost Sisters.
Ghost Sisters of Ohio.
Oh, of Ghost Sisters. We're on all social media, and me, Intuitive Media Mandy.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Sin, Shrader Hill author. What would you like to say to wrap up?
My books are available on Amazon. Please go check them out. Kindle and paperback versions. If you have Kindle Unlimited, they are free to read. So check them out. Still accepting stories for the book coming up this fall, dark stories, really dark, scary stories of investigations and things like that. Next year, the ones about our loved ones coming back, leaving signs, pets even. So you can reach me at sendshraderhillauthor@gmail.com. Find me on Facebook and elkvalleyparanormal.com.
Oh, that seems like a lot of stuff. Anyone else have anything else they want to say before I do the wrap up?
Next
Yes.
Block Island is when, Mike?
Ooh.
August 27th? Is that the date? I think it is. 27, 28, 29th?
Hang on.
It's the last weekend.
25th, 26th, and 27th.
There it is. We have Chris the Cesare, the ghost boy of Genosa. He has quite the interesting story. He's got a little Sammy Hagar going on in him. So, the Red Rocco will be with us out there on Block Island. We got a bunch of people coming down. We've expanded every single time we've done it. It's just been getting better, and it's been giving us ideas for the fall months, what to do next year. There's just a lot to do there, and it's hard to, because it's an island. It's hard to get communication with Block Island Rick without actually being on Block Island, right? And I can't wait for people to see what Block Island looks like in the winter, because it's terrifying. Oh my God, all the houses look old and the same. There's no street lights. Well, I mean, there's street lights, but no red lights. It's so back. It's crazy. It goes from my vacation place, spring break, to like if the children of the corn made their own island, you know?
This looks like right now.
Oh,
There's a
you
lot of
froze.
history there too.
Mandy froze just then. Did anybody see it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she
That
was
one.
pointing.
Pointing, froze, freeze.
So,
Freeze, pointing,
send,
freeze.
so create your memes and send your submissions to Mandy Memes at gmail.com or something like that.
What was
We'll
Mandy
create-
pointing at? Right? What was Mandy pointing at? Fill in the blank. All right. So for Sin Shrader Hill author, for the Machine Mandy, for Dreamy, David Barr, it is me, Mike Lever King, Mike Others was legit. Paranormal News brought to you by Legit Podcast.com. Tomorrow night we have clips on at 8 and Paranormal 101 at 9 o'clock. I will be returning to Paranormal 101 to break up the synergy of females. I'm gonna stick me back into it and see what happens. Probably not a good thing, but we're gonna still see what happens. So tune in to see us tomorrow. Thank you for watching us on our website, legitpodcast.com.